Yeah, Portugal has an ally who.
No, I killed her like Portugal.
No, you didn't.
Teresa? Oh no, she's still alive.
Yeah.
Huh? Where is that bitch?
Remember she can marry into city-states?
Oh yeah.
Austria. So she must have a city somewhere in North America.
I'll find that bitch one of these
Sorry.
days.
Goddamn.
No, you're good. Not
If
much
you
between
see
this shit.
Denmark, uh, the ally of fucking France, I couldn't think of it. They have a city right in Viborg, right north of Paris.
Yeah, I seen that actually.
That city is at a very bad spot.
Are you gonna take it or am I raising it?
Well, you can go ahead and raise it because what I'm saying is if you take that city when you declare war and destroy it, you could amass your
Yeah.
army up there and from two fronts push, have people attacking their capital while you're simultaneously attacking with your tank battalions down here. So,
Can't lie, I feel like I'm just gonna end up nuking the fuck out of France to the
well,
point of non-existence,
well, I
and then
mean,
come in sweeping in the end.
yeah, I guess you could do that. That'll work also. That's a legitimate tactic. Uh, well, Austria could be up here near Athens somewhere also, like up here in
Yeah.
Eastern or Western Europe. So
They just better not show their face, or else, they're really fucked.
I'm gonna start traveling over
I'll
to an
immediately
APC
go
group.
after them.
It's an APC group over there, and all right, you can go ahead and continue playing.
Alright, one last thing I was gonna mention is,
All
okay,
right.
the amount of nukes I have. In 2 turns, I'll have 2 nuclear missiles. Like, not just atom bomb, 2 nuclear missiles. And I'll have a total of 8 nukes in
Well, don't
Japan.
waste them all on France. It's not necessary.
Not,
Although, if you really wanted to be a piece of shit, you'd use 2 nuclear missiles on Paris because they do more direct damage, and then use
yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
paratroopers and paratroop them all around Paris and take Paris. It's that following turn.
Yeah.
And then there's their capital gone, which is the biggest portion of their territorial expansion, which leaves
Good
Orleans,
point.
Troyes, and Lyon, which would be suffering from the radiation. Or you could also do that, but before you drop your paratroopers, drop an atomic bomb right in the center between Troyes, Lyon, and Orleans, because it'll fuck all three of them because they're so close together.
Bro, I'm gonna fuck the living shit out of these people. Oh, now I'm gonna continue though.
All right,
Come on, play, bitch.
play, bitch.
Pressing
He said something after you already. I don't know if your eyes were open enough to see it. And that was my mother's preacher. You went to both funerals, right? I went to, no, just one. Okay, but
Oh, shrimp's ready.
Oh my God. Of course, black people and shrimp. Now, scrimp.
Shrimp, nigga.
You can just let it play while you're away, I guess. I'll just
Yeah,
record it.
that's what I was gonna do.
yeah, I saw him earlier. Couldn't you tell he was genuine? Yeah. Regardless to if you believe what he's talking about. How he's preaching, yeah. He ain't no fake, no phony. That man believes in God, and
Forgot to end his turn. God damn it.
so God puts those kind of people in front of you so you could hear what they got to say, and every once in a while, they do catch you. Because when my mom turned 80, we had a big old party for her at the church. And that preacher, he got to talk and stuff, and I wasn't thinking about being in no church listening to no preacher. I get tired of listening to preachers. Okay, but his sermon caught me. And it meant a lot to me because it seemed like he was talking about me, because things that he was talking about. And he wasn't talking about me. He was talking in general terms. But the things he was talking about, I knew they pertained to me. And had I not been in that church that day, I wouldn't have known that. But you got to be careful being in church because there's a lot of devils in there. Because the devil, that's the main place he's looking for you. So you can't trust every preacher. Yeah, you can't. We call him the jackleg preacher, or the Bible calls him the false prophet. See, because the false prophet, his hell is worse worse than you right now because he leads you to hell. And the false prophet is the preacher that's preaching to you for profit and making money off of what he's telling you and telling you things to make you more or less follow him. Whereas a true person of God knows that it's their responsibility to tell you about God. They ain't supposed to charge you a dime. They're supposed to tell you. Now, they can't make you believe. But if they didn't tell you, they ain't done their job. If they tell you and you don't believe, you just don't believe. They got to walk off. They can't be beating you upside the head trying to make you believe. But they got to tell you that's their responsibility. Everybody has a responsibility in life, especially once you become an adult. You have a responsibility to get your ass up and go to work and take care of yourself. Don't you feel like that's a responsibility? It's one you're just born with. And if you're called by God to preach the word of God, you're not supposed to be asking nobody for money and all that.
Yeah, the church do it all the time. Like,
people are supposed to understand that it's a good thing to give to the church, and if I got it, I'd rather get a church a few dollars than to go out here and there's a guy out here begging for money so he can run out a liquor store. Don't want to go out and get a job. Preacher's doing me a service if he's teaching me things. But see, television evangelism. What's that white person?
Pat Robertson.
Pat Robertson and all that guy. Jerry Falwell and all that guy. They got a multi-million-dollar show. They got 3-4 Cadillacs. They got $2 or $4 million homes. They're sitting on gold toilets and all that kind of stuff. That is vanity. That's what got the devil kicked out of heaven. And the devil used to be in heaven. He got kicked out. That was one of the first sins, was vanity. Okay, so the jackleg preacher, the false prophet. See, I believe in God, me personally. But that's a spiritual thing. Because I feel God don't talk to me through no man. God talks to me through my heart and my head because God gave me birth with common sense. And I can decipher right from wrong. Okay? And so you don't have to go to no church and somebody just pound that shit in their head. You know right from wrong at a certain age, okay? So the false prophet, or what in the black community is the jackleg preacher, is the preacher when slavery ended and they freed the slaves. Well, let me start before that. Let me start with Christianity. See, the reason why I'm not a professed Christian, I'm not a movie Christian, they all believe in God, okay, and that's good, but they all claim that there's only one true God and one true religion, right?
Sounds like Islam.
We got, what, 10, 11 different religions at least, maybe more?
There's a lot.
A little confusing, is it?
A lot confusing.
Okay. God doesn't deal with things that are that damn confusing. The Bible says that the devil is the author of confusion. Okay. So, one thing, once you get knowledge, you will learn that the Christians, the white man, stole the black man's religion, which was Islam, and made his religion off of it called Christianity. Okay. Then he went around the world and telling everybody their religion.
I don't.
Yep, I paused it there.
I don't know.
Black people.
Well, not only that, I don't know about the whole stealing of Islam and making our own religion. Considering Islam, Judaism, and fucking and Christianity are all essentially the exact same story, except different protagonists. So,
Funny, actually, Judaism was actually first of all of them. Or anything.
The Jews were first. Christianity was formed slightly later sometime during the Roman Empire, and then the Romans, built onto it, which ended up destroying them, but built up onto it. And at the same time, Islam took influence from the Jewish belief, but in a different way and through different means. So, because I know all three of them were created relatively around the same time, but each one only being slightly older than the next. So
that's what I was like, here comes the best part.
And also, he can't go with all Christians, because there's Catholics, which, if you want to talk about who copied who, that's debatable. But Catholics would actually technically be first, because the Roman Empire was Catholic, not Christian. It's a form of Christianity, but what the difference is, one believes that an individual can speak to God, and the other, the Pope, is the only one that can speak directly to God. So that's different. And even with that, there's varieties of Catholicism and there's varieties of Christianity. One of them being Protestantism. Even going even further, there's Mormonism. There's things like that. What's that other one? There's Mormons, and there's that one other one that goes door to door.
Fuck.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Witness.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's even those. Even with Islam, there's different sects of Islam that each believe in the Quran a slightly different way.
And,
the Sunnis and Shiites and the Kurds.
Shiites, yep.
So, and the Kurds believe in a particular incarnation of God that's like a goat or some shit, and the rest of Islam doesn't really agree with that, and they want them dead. They think that's the devil. But that's I don't know a shitload about Islam, and I'm not going to sit there and argue about Islam. So I don't understand where he gets that. And here's the funniest thing, and here's what's really triggering me, is that Islam, Judaism, Christianity aren't the first fucking religions. Before that, they believed in multiple gods. I think my whole thought process is the reason that here's the thing. 1 second.
Black people's religions are.
Well, 1 second. But I think the whole reason that me personally, the whole reason I think that these three main religions were created was for simplicity's sake. Because there were so many fucking gods in so many different countries that believed in so much different bullshit that it was way too hard to keep track of, or way too hard to influence another nation or communicate with another nation because of the difference in religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One sun god is a different sun god, and one sun god requires you to behead the young at the top of a temple, and the other one doesn't. So what they did is they took the aspects of all the ancient religions and they put them into separate texts that were then and in time were interpreted in hundreds of different ways and used in probably thousands of different ways to do both great evil and great good. And at some point in time, they all conglomerated into three main sections, and then the rest is basically clearly documented history. So
it's just like
most religions.
I read an African book in 12th grade called A Boy Soldier. They believe in. They not believe in God stuff. They believe in multiple gods, like there's a god of a forest or shit like that.
Well, that's why there's things like voodoo and black magic are so relevant, so shared in their culture.
It's like you're trying to speak for black people, but you don't even know anything about African history and culture. They did not believe in the three main religions at all.
And if you also think about it, the only reason
believe in that shit is because white people.
Well, the only reason there's Muslims in the Middle East and Christians in the Middle East is because of foreign invaders. That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason those religions spread in general, is because they were very good at killing people and enslaving and taking over nations. But so I don't understand. And to say that Christianity isn't somehow inherently a white religion and Islam is inherently a black religion doesn't make any fucking sense, because there's a shitload that believe in both. So, or believe in none. I don't. So it doesn't make any sense. And how is Islam inherently a black religion when Islam's initial creation, much like the rest of the modern religions, was in the Middle East? So it'd be a Middle Eastern religion if it was going to be race based.
Exactly.
And even though Christianity, actually, you know what's funny? If you think about it, even Judaism and Christianity are technically inherently Middle Eastern religions because that's their birthplace. That's where they were created. Yep. Jesus was not white. He wasn't black. He wasn't Asian. If he was anything, he would have been Middle Eastern of some descent. So.
Mm-hmm. So all those.
I think Jesus was one of the. He was a good con man who did way too much conning and got noticed by the Romans and probably was crucified based on those offenses, not because of the offenses they state, because the crucifixions, for the most part, usually were not just willy-nilly. They did it for people who raped and who murdered and pillaged their lands, what Rome thought was rightfully theirs. Or stole from Roman citizens.
In the Bible,
if you conned a Roman citizen or a Roman legionnaire or something like that, your ass is probably going to be fucking crucified. You know what I mean? But
for example, this contradiction where Jesus said that person next to him, he was out there because he stole, and they wouldn't crucify you for stealing. Maybe chop off your hand or maybe throw you in with the lions. Maybe,
well, even in the Bibles, right? Even in the Quran, the Bible, and the Old Testament that the Jews believe in, that those are the punishments for thievery is, hands, fingers, lines like your tongue and shit like that. You know what I mean? They wouldn't kill you for that because those weren't sins that you couldn't repent for. It wasn't like murder. And even then, murders, there's a get out of free jail card. If you accept the word of God, then when you die, you go to heaven. It states that in the Bible. So technically, if you think about it, the only people who would go to hell are people who don't accept the word of God when they die.
Mostly atheists and shit, according to them.
Yeah, but even an atheist could go into heaven as he dies and says, if he's dying and he's conscious about his death, I accept the word of God and the Bible, he would go to heaven. It's a get out of jail free card. So.
Bro, wait, one thing I gotta say real quick before I continue the video. Portuguese in their last city took out a settler. They poured out a settler in their last desperate attempt to stay alive.
Great.
Now shall continue the video. Cringe.
And his was right. So he gets to the Indians in North America. Well, the ones that fell for it the easiest was the Mexicans. There's more Catholic Mexicans. Yeah, because of Spain and the Catholics killed Christ, you silly motherfucker. I don't get that. But so they started converting everybody to Christianity to indoctrinate your mind. Do you know what indoctrinate means?
Yeah,
Make you believe some brainwash. Okay, so even at my age, you learn something new every day. I was watching TV yesterday, and this program was on about when they first conquered America. And they start trying to make Indians into good Christians. When I slap this teacher, turn the other one, so I slap that one. God would never go for nothing like that. God loves warriors. That's in the first place. One thing I found out that I didn't know, Indians used to take them priests and throw them off cliffs. Because
they were forced to go to boarding school.
Because they're coming to them and they're telling them, because the Indians had their own religion.
Oh, yeah.
And they're telling them, well, you're.
When they got pause real quick, doesn't that? How can you support the? See, this is what I mean by fucking dumbasses.
See, wait,
you're supporting the Native Americans throwing Christians off, but you believe in God. Wouldn't that be very sinful in the eyes?
No,
of the
because the preachers weren't black; they were white, Desbo. That's the key term.
Forgot.
Is because they were white priests and preachers, not fucking not black.
Because it's so fucking stupid.
And
Japan too.
One second. I'm pretty sure now. Don't get me. Don't go out of your way or anything. But I'm pretty sure that the Native Americans were killing people, settlers in particular, because we started invading their land, not necessarily because of their religion. I would imagine that religion would have some factor in that, of course, you know,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure it's because we were fucking raping and pillaging them. We didn't come here peacefully, and it wasn't like the white Europeans came here peacefully. All you gotta do is look at the Spanish and the Portuguese and the French did to North America.
Exactly.
We didn't come here. Maybe at first it seemed like we were peaceful, but if you just look at that shit, we did not come there to be peaceful. We came there to conquer. Or I should say I should say Europeans in general, came there to conquer. That's what they did. That's what Western world did, was conquer. And they were damn fucking good at conquering. So, and this, they were throwing them off cliffs? Well, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that when we were manifest destinying the fuck out of North America, we did the same thing to Native American babies. And in fact, I'm pretty sure there's multiple times of documented history where the U.S. cavalry would march into in Native American camps and slaughter all the women and children. So where he gets off.
Native Americans though, real quick, they did have, I feel like, the most brutal way to torture someone I've ever seen, which is to feed them alive with fire ants.
Well,
Which shows that they weren't exactly the most peaceful people, too.
Well, not all.
Like that.
You also have to look at, there's different nations of Native Americans. There's not one Native American group. There were ones like the Blackfoot and the Crow that were warlike. They were extremely warlike. That's all they did was constantly kill. That's pretty much their existence, was to attack other nations. And it's because that's just what they believe. They believe that with their land, that was their rightful land. Much like the Western Europeans that came here thought that this was their, by God's grace, their land. By king and country, that this is their fucking land. No one else can say anything about it. So, to be fair with the Native Americans, they were doing to a foreign invader what the foreign invader was doing to them. So they acted in kind. So
yeah, it's true.
I mean, they normally did that anyways, but what Europeans built shit like guillotines and fucking Iron Maidens and shit to do the same thing. So
yeah, exactly.
Although I would hate to be eaten alive by fire ants. That would be very slow and painful.
See, that's what I said. I give them credit for that. I think that's the most brutal way to kill someone. Because holy shit, how long would that take? What the fuck?
I don't know how poisonous. I guess it would depend on the fire ants. Because I think there's different breeds of fire ants, and each one's differently, different levels of toxin or whatever they use to make that stinging.
I feel like you would die of thirst before they killed you.
I don't know. They'd probably choke you to death by crawling into your fucking mouth and ears and shit that. Like,
because you'd be screaming, choking up ants as they're biting everywhere in your fucking area.
Hell,
like, damn. Holy shit. Brutal.
By the way, we were talking about the first religions, and the first few documented religions existed only within India, China, and Mesopotamia was technically the first one. So the Egyptian religions were technically some of the first religions of mass belief. So
exactly.
Not random village-based religions. So
village.
I guess you probably don't trust King James. You know the King James Bible is the most popular Bible in the world.
There's only one thing I like about the King James Bible.
It says thou.
Well, it's broken down where you can into English where you see.
No, it's edited to take out all the gory stuff people don't want. People don't want to read a Bible of brimstone and fire, which is what the original Bible was.
Mm-hmm.
They want a happy-go-lucky, everything is going to be all right Bible. Look at the Old Testament, and you will see the Bible was never written with the intention of being happy-go-lucky. It was meant to scare people. So.
That he is superior, he's your master, you're inferior, and the Lord wants you to serve your master. That's what's in this version of the book. This the only thing I got against it. And of course, any man that got that kind of power where I get to write a book that influences the whole world. They got to believe what I believe.
Yeah, correct him right there. It didn't influence the whole world. Influenced anyone who was a Christian. It had no effect really on Asia.
Christianity had, in certain parts of the world it had no effect. Christianity's major conflict was with the other I'm going to call Judeo-Christian based beliefs. So
Yeah.
Jews and Muslims. The Crusades were not fought against the fucking multiple god worshipping Chinese. They were fought against Muslim invaders, and then we did our own crusades in return. So,
Exactly.
I
Also,
don't.
too, he's out of the game, Portugal.
Portugal? Fuck yeah. I'm
Oh,
amassing.
yeah, map of the whole world.
Yeah, because we
Austria's
completed satellites. So.
What the fuck? Austria's in Australia.
Australia.
Well,
Wow.
they ran.
That's a coastal city too. So it's good to
They
see
fucked
that
up making
I
coastal
killed
cities.
literally everybody in Europe except for the Greeks.
I know. Now I know who's next.
Well, the AI really were. It means the AI seemed like they didn't do, except for the Indian Native Americans here. The AI really didn't do well like they normally do. Usually they put up more of a resistance, but this time, I think, why? I think it's because remember in the beginning of the game, some of the AI killed each other off. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Is that they weakened themselves too early on in the game.
And not only that, too, France fucked up. France and Austria should have jumped me at the beginning of the game, but they couldn't do it.
Because I mean,
I'm gonna let
look,
you have fun with.
I'll take on the Greeks. The Greeks pose no threat to me at all. I'll walk over them if I wanted to. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I was also gonna let you have fun with Denmark too, if you want.
Denmark? Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I already have a small expeditionary force mounting against the border.
Yeah, I already see that.
Yeah.
Um,
With this force right here, I should be able to take those two cities right there, and then
send 2 of my battleships to Australia. Only take 6 turns.
see because I also that city right there. If I have 3 naval units, 2 destroyers and a battleship I can use to attack it and take the coastal cities. So it's not a big issue there.
I'm just got my carriers by North America just to defend them, and I honestly think the Native Americans is gonna be last because how many fucking cities they have. I don't even want to take over every single one of them. Just want to bomb it out of existence.
If you
at
build
this point.
nuclear missiles, you could one-shot Buffalo. It would destroy it immediately with a nuclear missile. Gyneke or whatever that is, you could destroy that one missile. Nedro. Apparently, Native Americans founded Cuba. Okay. The Cayuga Castle. That sounds Japanese for some reason.
It actually does, yeah.
Well, actually, weren't the Chinese in this game originally? Maybe they took over the Chinese, and that's a Chinese city.
They could have actually, yeah.
Because that sounds awful Asian. Like, hold up. Cayugacastle.
Of course, we could just be more racist than what we think.
Oh, it is Middle Eastern.
Fucking...
I mean, I'm sorry, it is. It was a major village of the Cayuga Nation of the Iroquois Indians in west central New York State. That was their capital, or one of their cities, I guess. So, I just didn't think that the Native Americans would have had a concept of a castle. So, that's just me, though.
True.
Castles are pretty European for the most part. Asia has some castles, but I don't. Were those called castles? I think those were called something else, though. So
Asia, no, they had castles.
Did they castles?
It wasn't built like Europeans, though. Like you wouldn't need the European equipment to take them out. You wouldn't need. Maybe besides the Great Wall of China.
Well, I know, considering
besides that,
when I was reading about Japan and see how many times the military overthrew the capital with no fucking problem. Apparently that was not much of a stronghold. Alright, you can continue playing that. How much longer is it?
18 more minutes.
Alright.
This is interesting.
That's what's wrong with the white man. Much as I love my mom, every time I go to Sioux City, she got them white men on there preaching, and she will have to admit that Jimmy Swaggart is a no good riding song. She got caught with prostitutes.
You said Jimmy Swaggart.
Jimmy Swaggart
Oh,
is one of the most famous. He's more famous than Pat Robertson and them. You just don't know about it because you're young. He's about their age, and his ministry took off before them.
Oh, he's a televangelist.
He's a televangelist, yeah. And he got caught with prostitutes and all kinds of shit. That's why my mom really. But his son is a good man. His son is a white man telling you the same thing as Daddy told you. I don't want no white man telling me about God.
Don't trust it, huh?
I already know that God said, "Let us make man, and let us make him in our image." So I already know that man is in the image of God. That means we look like God. That means God got a big, broad nose and nappy hair. That's what
That means God is the one dumb fucking looking creature of poor design. And therefore he's flawed.
When the rapture comes, Jesus is supposed to come back and gather everybody up and take them off of the earth before the earth gets destroyed again. When Jesus come back, and he come up to the white man and say, "Come on, let's go." He's gonna look at him. I ain't following you nowhere, nigga. You kidding me? Watch. See, Jesus' job is really tough. Because first he had to come down here and die for all our sins, and nobody appreciated it. Okay? Because here's what happened to Jesus. Jesus got two missions there. They're in Revelations in the Bible, okay? Jesus had two missions. His first mission was to come down to man and teach man the ways of God and to end up dying for his sins. And when Jesus died, he went down to hell and took the keys of hell from the devil. And so Jesus has the keys to heaven or hell. Okay. Now, the problem that Jesus had is he's a Jew. He's black.
The king of the Jews.
He's the king of the Jews.
No, he's
black.
not.
Yeah, brown skin. That's what his broad nose. That's what Jesus' problem was. His other problem was black people was poor. And he was king of the Jews and he was poor. The Romans rode in on a big pretty white horse. Jesus rode in on the back of a donkey. Only poor men rode donkeys. They hated Jesus.
Or they were just ignorant of the ways of taming horses. Or the fact that horses are only natural to the northern parts of Europe. So, not the Middle East.
A Messiah's coming. A Messiah's coming. The Lord's sending his son.
Chris is being too hard and poor little
They in
nigga.
bondage. They think Jesus gonna come as a mighty warrior and whoop the Romans.
The story would have been more believable if he rode in on a camel. Because it'd actually be a creature that's native to the region.
Healing the sick and feeding the prostitutes. And they was pissed with Jesus, man. That's why they let you. So now when it come time to kill Jesus, the Roman Emperor Pontius Pilate don't believe in God, allegedly. But all of a sudden he gets scared. The most powerful man in the world gets scared. I can't find no fault in this man. He said, "I tell you what." He said he went to the church elders and he told them,
I want you
"Kill us some
to pause that real quick.
Well, you know.
Yep. Sound really stupid.
When he said the Roman Emperor.
Yep. Did you remember exactly what you're gonna say, or? I know you have to deal with a bunch of
I'm thinking of his
shit.
name. I think I'm wrong, but I thought the Roman Emperor during that time was Tiberius.
I think you could be right. I don't know, really. I just don't give a fuck, mostly.
I think it was Tiberius, because I think his descendant was fucking Nero. Tiberius Nero was his descendant. Nero was one of the most ruthless one of the most ruthless Roman emperors to exist. I could be totally wrong about that. All right, you can continue going on.
Okay.
Oh wait, no.
But you know that's the way they talk to them, motherfucker. They wasn't nice.
Wait, I was right. The emperor was Tiberius. Pontius Pilate served underneath him. So he was the fifth prefect of the Roman province of Judea. He served under the emperor Tiberius. So I was fucking right. I had to look it up because something didn't sound right that he called him Emperor Pontius Pilate. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but I was right.
Nigga,
so.
that don't make sense.
All right, go ahead. You can continue.
Yeah, I'll continue that. This
We
shit.
gonna kill us a motherfucker today. They killing motherfuckers every day, feeding them the lions and all kinds of shit. He said, now, we gonna give you a choice. We gonna give you Jesus. Either you gonna kill Jesus, we gonna kill Jesus, or we gonna kill Barabbas. Well, the problem was Barabbas was a criminal to the Romans because he fought against the Romans. To the people, he was like Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a hero to us, but to the white man, he was a criminal. He was a radical.
That's because he was a radical. Martin Luther King Jr. That's someone to hold up on a pedestal.
Barabbas was in prison because he was putting his life on the line, fighting for their scared asses. And he was brave, and he was killing motherfucking Romans for them. They loved Barabbas. They wanted to love Jesus, but Jesus wasn't acting right. He was cold and all of these things, and they let the Romans kill Jesus. So the Romans said, well, Pontius Pilate said, I wash my hands with it. I ain't got that man's blood on my hands. He put the blood on the Jewish people's hands. Well, he knew it, the Jewish people. Number one, he can't wash the blood off because they can't kill Jesus without his word. But it ain't bullshit because he put it on the elders. Now, the elders are the ones, the leaders of the church, which was to us a false prophet, which was the jackweight preacher in them days. And they had status, or status, or however you want to call it. They ate cake and bacon and all the good things the Romans ate, where the rest of the people got grits.
They weren't black, nigga.
They didn't want to give up their little power. So they knew if they would have chose Barabbas over Jesus, that the Romans probably going to kick them down with the rest of the poor people. They had nice clothes. They didn't have to wear all them old raggedy clothes and all that shit. Okay, so that's where Christianity came from. So now you come a little more modern, and you get the slavery. And the white man took the black man that was a preacher to preach to the slave. Now when master hit you on this pow on that cheek, turn that other cheek, let him even up the pain. Okay, so after slavery, how many millions of slaves was in North America at that time? Several million. I forget how. Millions of niggas was in slavery. Now they all free. None of them know how to read and write. None of them know how to do anything but pick cotton. So what they gonna do for a living? So they became indentured servants, which ain't nothing but a slave, which means that the master let you stay on this land if you worked for years, for so many years.
By the way, his answer is about 2.2 million.
Because he's charging you for rent, room and board, feeding you, and all of that. So basically, slavery.
Chris told me it's not the million.
So one of the most prestigious jobs a black man could get, right after slavery, especially in the South, was a preacher.
Pause it real quick.
Salary.
All right.
So, I know this one for a fact. Between the creation of the African slave trade, sometime in the late 1400s, early 1500s, and to the end of the African slave trade, I know there was around 13 million slaves, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around 10 million, I think, survived the Middle Passage and disembarked in North America. But only about 388,000 of those slaves actually made it to North America. So I what I don't understand is if he's talking about early slave trade when he said they're bringing people, and he's talking about hundreds of millions. There were not hundreds of millions of Africans, first of all, because the world's population probably wasn't close to 100 million. So
nowhere fucking near.
So I like because you had to look. There's slaves that dropped off in the Caribbean, in South America. Brazil received some. So 10 million slaves survived, and I'm looking at it looked it up. Brazil received 4.8 million of those slaves. And out of all the slaves, approximately 450,000 Africans who arrived to the United States over the course of the entire slave trade. So not even 500,000 slaves made it to America during the entire course of the slave trade. And the slave trade started in the 1500s. And America didn't start receiving slaves until sometime, 1700s, before we were even a country,
Exactly.
So where he's talking about hundreds of millions of slaves, and credibly, let's see. So the 42 million African American population that exists now descended from 400,000 slaves.
That's why we're 13% of the population.
Well, they were probably 13% of the population at that time too, because of the population of the U.S. So I don't.
Probably even lower.
So he's talking about hundreds of millions, but we didn't have hundreds of millions, first of all, and there wasn't near millions in America. So
really fucking wasn't. I don't know where he's getting that garbage from.
Oh, probably that pamphlet he's fucking reading. There was 90 million slaves in North America. Yes, totally. All right, continue on.
Yeah, I got you, bro. About 10 more minutes left.
His status in the community, he's a bigwig in the community. But the white man told him, boy, if you teach them niggas anything but what it take you to teach them, you'll never preach again. And they might find you hanging. Probably will find you hanging from the highest tree, okay? And so they had to preach that old time religion that was good enough for mama and is good enough for me. Gammy still gets mad at me if I talk like this. Boy, you don't question God. I ain't questioning God. I'm questioning what people wrote about God.
But if I do that, I'm listening to a white man.
What they wrote about God. I'm not questioning God. And religious people are brainwashed to say, if you believe the Bible, you got to believe all of it. When it says right in the Bible, God says that you're not just condemned by your works. You're condemned by your works, which means bad things that you do. You're also condemned for the lack of knowledge. Seek ye knowledge, young man. So what that mean? That means you got to ask questions. How you going to get knowledge if you don't ask questions? God ain't mad. Don't look at it like you question him because he wants you to ask questions. How else he going to be able to explain to you? So you gotta search your soul.
Don't know about that.
You gotta get your own relationship with God. If you ever come to the point where you believe in a God, and I can guarantee you that you're not really gonna be looking at him as God. You're gonna be looking at him more like as Lord, because I guarantee you his name is not God.
What? What the fuck? What's his name then? You all knowing black being.
Man stole that religion from him. They called him Allah. But his name may not even be Allah. I know
Allah just means God.
Because God is a Greek word, and all that Greek mythology shit. That's where God
it's
came
a Greek
from.
word from all powerful.
Heavenly. It sounds. It's a Greek like the God. That sounds like a devilish name or something.
Oh.
Ain't no God. But
what? Like that's just your interpretation. I was saying this to my brother too. Like me and my brother talking, like I can tell someone that shit, and I could go to some random Japanese who knows nothing about English. So I know that this might not be seen as real, but just bear with me.
Right.
And I tell him that the word shit actually means kitty. So every time someone's like, man, I gotta go take a shit, they think, oh, that's just.
Well,
that's a simple
Allah is
interpretation.
God, and
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like it's
it's just a different name for him, based on the
I heard
language of the people
technically
there.
his name is Yahweh, but
But
even so, God means Almighty, all powerful. Yeah, and number two, because I got in a huge argument for my mom like years ago, because she was like, "Don't call him, don't say,
because I mean,
don't call him omnipotent.
what
Don't say we're omnipotent.
Allahu
That sounds evil."
Allah Akbar is Allah is greatest, which in real translation means God is great. So
God is great. God is good. Let us take him for our food in Jesus'
let me
name.
put on my white hood and hunt down all them niggers. You know, let's.
Not all them niggas. Yeah, yes. Also, do tell me when I can kill Fran.
You can go ahead and attack if you want. I don't care.
Ooh! Yay!
So used to saying God,
About to see destruction of fans, bro.
Talking about, you know, but that's who the Jack Blake preacher is, man. He's that guy that came out of slavery, then he passed it down to his son, he passed it down to his son, and a real reverend, a real preacher will preach things like what's on here, whether you believe it or not. He's not trying. He's trying to make you believe it. But
I want him to explain to me his thoughts on Hinduism and Buddhism.
You don't believe this. Well, son, what that does is make me glad you got a mind of your own. If you don't believe it, that means you're thinking. But you don't have to believe it. I told it to you. I set it up there purposely for you to see it. I hope no one could hear us. Sorry. I left it up there purposely so you could read it and study it. Only a damn fool believes everything somebody tells him.
Yeah. Take from that what you will. I agree with him. That is a life lesson everybody needs to know.
Because some parts of the Bible, the whole Bible ain't a lie. See, because the Bible was written in English. And English is the only
No, it was written in Latin, but I mean, I guess whatever.
more than one meaning. Let's take the word was.
I mean, Latin isn't the base for all modern religions or anything, or modern languages pretty much or anything. You know,
Two, a little
no,
differently.
of course
One
not.
is number, and one is to you, and so it's the only language in the whole world where you could take. So you could take one. You could take one word.
I don't think English is the oldest language in the world, but we'll go with that.
Yeah, we can.
Because hieroglyphics in Egyptian temples didn't mean anything.
I don't know if he really believes in God or not. I don't think he wrote that book because he had a great love for God. I think he wrote that book because he had a great love for power.
Yeah.
My God.
That's what I think it was about, power.
It's kind of the whole purpose of that, but I mean,
Preacher or reverend.
to have a book that can justify any gruesome act you want to do, you know. But
Power to say, hey,
I mean, Islam kills based on who's an apostate and who isn't.
so I'm gonna translate it into English. He had the power to do that. Most people don't have that kind of power.
Also couldn't reach Paris
The
and I knew.
Bible was written by scholars. You gotta be a scholar to write in the Bible. You had to be a study for years and know what the fuck you're talking about.
Someone doesn't.
Just get to go writing in the Bible. So everybody that's written in the Bible are scholars of some type. King James wasn't no scholar. He's a king with power. So it's just like what Trump is doing now. Him and that.
Oh my God.
They're turning that whole thing into a circus because they got the power to do so. Mitch McConnell just got Trump because they're on the same team with that, but they just got delivered a blow. For 7 years, they've been talking about repeal and replace Obamacare. Now, the Republicans have all the power. You're about to repeal it. How it failed? It failed. Oh, yeah, it failed 4 times. And the only felt as if some Republicans went against him. See, because everybody.
Before he decides to go on this tirade that somebody doesn't know talking about, the reason why it failed was because the Republicans were on the same page. Some want to completely just get rid of healthcare. Oh, just not have it. Some people like Trump actually want to keep some forms of Obamacare, like the pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, and the mandatory fee for not having, healthcare. So
That was the whole fiasco.
and
It shows this nigga doesn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, now time to continue with this dumb garbage.
Isn't a dirty motherfucker. And it's usually a woman. So there was 2 women Republicans that said, that's just too dirty. We can't do it. And he could only lose 2 votes. So the deciding vote was a Republican, John McCain.
And 1 second, pause it real quick. Pause it.
Like him or not,
Gotcha.
King James, the person who authorized the English translation of the Christian Bible, did such because they needed an English translation for the Church of England. And why do they need one for the Church in England? Well, because the previous king, King Henry, wanted to divorce his wife, and the Catholic Church told him no, he can't divorce his wife. So he said, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyways, and created his own Christian religion. So that's the whole reason that there's a translation, the King James version of the book. So,
Yep.
okay, go ahead.
Alright.
Yeah, I know he really hates. He thinks Donald Trump. I think he's still mad because Donald Trump.
But it ain't just that. John McCain was a pilot in the Air Force in Vietnam. And John McCain got shot down and became a prisoner of war, and they tortured him and broke his bones, did all kinds of stuff. And after so many years, they were going to turn him loose. But there was other prisoners, and he said, no, turn them loose. He let his other prisoners get turned loose before he stayed there and got tortured for his country. John McCain is a true patriot. Okay, now, what's happening in this thing is the Republicans are doing things that have never been done before because they got the power to do so. When they make laws like repealing Obamacare, they're supposed to be Republicans and Democrats come together and make the rules. The Democrats ain't got no more power, and the Republicans just shut them out and went locked up and closed doors. And they're supposed to do it in front of the whole country, so everybody knows what they're doing. So 13 Republicans went locked themselves up and came up with all these rules how to fuck everybody in the ass. And most of the people they're fucking is Trump's people.
Those 4 people.
Yeah, Trump's what they call them, the Rust Belt people. They work in the coal mines. Trump lied to them because the best politician is the best liar.
Well,
Trump
believe it or not, Obamacare actually fucked those middle class people more than anybody else. So,
This new
Yeah,
energy
exactly.
thing is way better and way cheaper. You think we're gonna go backwards? I mean, you're gonna go from a computer where you can get on there and type things like that, or you're gonna go backwards and get one of them old time first computers where you click. That's what that would be like. So all of that.
no, it wouldn't be. It's
Yeah.
not like the healthcare plan has been around for 50 years and then they kind of replace it. It's only been around for less than 5 years. So,
Exactly. Also, too, do you see France right now? Because I took over, like, 3
yeah, I've been
cities
watching
already.
you. Yeah. If you were going to repeal it, you need to repeal it within the next year and a half. After that, there's no point in repealing it because it'll do more damage. You need to, if you're going to repeal healthcare, you need to repeal it before it. Because like right now, if you repeal it, the markets, the price will increase for a period of time, but they'll level out, and
Yeah.
it won't be as much of a economic shock on people. But if you wait fucking 10 years and then repeal it, it's going to fuck a lot of people up. So you need to do it now while you're ahead,
Exactly.
while you have the ability to do it, and not wait too long, if you want to do it in the first place. And I noticed you've never upgraded that tank unit to modern tanks.
Oh, some of them, yeah. Some of them reason I'm not doing because it's just waste of aluminum.
Oh, okay. How much aluminum do you have?
Can't even see it now. There's so much shit I build.
You know,
with
I can
aluminum.
look at how much you have. You have no aluminum. You have 12
Nah, I
iron,
have no
18 horse, 5 coal, 21 oil, and 7 uranium. I can give you. There you go, 10 aluminum, because you're going to need it to build stealth bombers. So.
Yeah, because I'm only building one right now. Well, yay.
There you go. Now you can do that. Also, when we research death robots, you won't even need aluminum for that anymore, because you just need uranium. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Troopers.
I think I've heard
Terrorists.
enough of him.
2 more minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Unless you're gonna cry more.
Just go ahead, because it's just pretty much devolved from his main topic to Trump. So.
Yep, like typical. I almost said Republicans. Typical libs.
Up there in West Virginia, they call it hillbilly, and they worked in them coal mines for the last couple hundred years at least. Okay, well, America was running off of coal, but that's old school. The new technology, you ain't gonna go back once you discover new technology. So they're not bringing those jobs back. Everybody keeps telling them, oh, well, if Trump wants to do you a favor, he'll give you a grant to go to school and learn computer and get into the new technology. That's the only way you can get a job, bud. But they want to go up in them coal mines, and coal has, you know what sun is? That black dust. That black. That shit gets in your lungs. It causes cancer and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, no shit. That's why you wear protective gear, you fucking retard.
Obamacare more than anybody. And so, with the plan that the Republicans had, 22 million of them. The Obamacare that they got, they're going to take it from them.
22 million people versus we have what 320 million people. So that means 295 million people are going to be better off. It's for the greater good. You either help a few or you don't help. You either help the majority, or you don't help at all. So
exactly.
Greater good.
That's what it really amounts to. So they're saying they don't want the government paying for you. They want you to get a job and get you some health insurance or die.
Get a fucking job and get health insurance. There's plenty of jobs that offer it. Don't do drugs. Don't commit crime, and you can get a job that has decent health care. I did. I work for the government. I get very good health care. And it doesn't require a high level education to do that.
He could afford it, but it was eating into his profits. So he wasn't going to do that.
Alright, now it's done.
Yeah. I'm going to end this part right here.
And then